Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So today we are going to start with the physiological factor determining endurance. Now let's start with introduction. Endurance is defined as the ability of an individual to do sports movements of moderate intensity over a prolonged period of time under condition of fatigue or tiredness. It is the ability to perform cardiovascular exercise like running, aerobic exercise, or swimming for an extended period of time. Let's start with the first point, maximal oxygen uptake or aerobic capacity. VO2 max or maximum oxygen consumption can be defined as the maximum volume of oxygen that can be utilized or consumed by the working muscle or to be per minute. Maximal oxygen uptake reflects that aerobic physical fitness of the individual and is an important determinant of their endurance capacity during prolonged exercise. Our next point is muscle composition. Genetic difference in the proportional of muscle fiber types, slow twitch and fast twitch also determine endurance. Elite endurance athletes generally possess high percentage of slow twitch muscle fiber in muscles. High correlation between slow twitch muscle fiber and endurance performance have been reported in both running and cycling. Our next point is economic of movement. Athletes with a high exercise economic spend less energy, consume less oxygen at any given workload. This means that some athletes just use a little less energy to do the exact same thing than others and have better endurance. Athletes spend a lot of time training to improve from or style and thereby improve economic of movement. Our next point is educate fuel provision. The ability to exercise for adequate periods require adequate fuel. The human body is depends on fats and carbohydrates to support ATP. Regeneration for sustained muscle contraction. The availability and utilization for of these traits significantly affects endurance exercise capacity. Our next point is lactic acid tolerance. Lactic acid is the end result of exercise in the muscle. Accumulation of lactic acid in the muscles causes tiredness and cramping of the muscle. This is produced as energy is released during anaerobic respiration. It is possible to increase tolerance to lactic acid so that endurance can be increased. Our next point is aerobic capacity. Energy is required by the muscles in order to perform an activity continuously. This energy can be supplied by oxygen. Therefore, the capacity of oxygen, the capability of organism to keep the adequate supply of oxygen to the working muscles in our body. For energy, release is important for endurance performance. The aerobic capacity depends upon the Oxygen intake. Oxygen intake is the amount of oxygen that can be taken by the lungs, and it depends on the lung size. The higher the amount of oxygen, the better it is to achieve VO2 max. Oxygen intake cannot be categorized as a restrictive factor for endurance performance. Next point is oxygen transport. The blood absorbs oxygen from lungs and transports into the working muscles. The oxygen transport system depends on the amount of oxygen that the blood absorbs from the lungs and the ability of the circulatory system to transport this oxygen rapidly to the working muscles. Proper training can help in enhancing the concentration of blood, hemoglobin, and the capacity of the heart that control the transportation of the oxygenated blood. The amount of oxygen that our blood absorbs depend on the first point, speed of blood flow through the lungs. And next point, hemoglobin. Our next point is oxygen uptake. The transportation and consumption of oxygen in a person during any exercise or physical ability is the oxygen uptake. I hope you are clear with this topic